My daughter-in-law's line making a small sacrifice for big performance gains. Thank you for that line, Trish, and that's what we're going to do. So my next day off from work, I'm going to rip the engine back out of the car. My brother, I haven't even talked to him about it.
Hold the fuck, what? What the fuck is he saying? And I gonna rip, he gonna rip the motor out the car. What for? We get this close, we could at least wait to get the, what? Yo, no, what? Nah, yo. Nah, yo. For real. Nah. On my way, TX2K. 2K24, here we come. Got the Lambo already in front of me. I see it's coming. Yes, sir. Can't wait to be out there. Let's go. XTO.
induction, Chamonix performance, and motor.
So my next day off from work, I'm going to rip the engine back out of the car. My brother, I haven't even talked to him about it.
Hold the fuck. Hold the fuck up. What? Did he just say he gonna what? He gonna rip it back out the car. Yo, you gonna rip the motor? What for? We just get this just close. He gonna rip the motor back. fuck just happened? Oh my God! Oh, shit. Yo, shocker. All right, cool. Let me run it past y'all. You know what I mean? Let me run it back. Yeah, I've been hollering at Big Bro, been bugging Big Bro like, bro, we gotta get that forge cranking there, man. We gotta get that forge cranking there. We gotta make this happen. And I understand time go by, brother focus. He trying to get this shit done. He's like, all right, cool. Time flying by. Bro, we need to get the forge crank because we got forge cranes just sitting on the shelves. We have all these equipment and everything you need on the shelf, literally. You know what I mean? Spare pistons, spare rods, spare everything you could think of, spare forge cranks and everything. You know what I mean? In progress, we just gotta sit and I was like, bro, we need to go ahead and just swap that bitch out. And this was like time before you get to this point, like right now. It's like, all right, we do. But he's focused. He's trying to get this shit running. All right, cool. So my mind is, okay, cool, bro. We get this bitch running. Cool. Once we get this bitch running, and get this tune a little something. A month, we already had stage 3 running, but or throw another forge cranking and had us popping, man. So he was focused on this shit. Time go by. Shit just blurry in my mind. I want to get this bitch running now. And he get to this close. So I'm like, cool, we almost there. And he sent me weekly videos of everything that's going on. And I'm like, cool. Once we got that, and when I got this video, and I'm at TX2K.
And put tires all around the corners as well as the blocks up front. So we'll try to see if this can hold up a little bit while I can try to raise this up and continue with the process of this is a circus show. The process of removing the engine, get it up this steep hill in my driveway.
So I had to take back, drink, smoke, get my shit back together because I hit the nigga up right away. Like I'm at the track. I hit him up right away after I fucking get the text. So I get the text. He's saying something about something we should snatch it apart. As soon as I seen, I ain't even look at videos enough and hit him, bam. Yo, we gotta get this bitch running and get this shit popping. This shit crazy if we don't get this shit fucking running, man. We gotta get this shit fucking running. This nigga, oh my goodness. And then long story short, we get the rap and talking, and he told me he already took the shit apart. I was like, what? You took it apart already? I was like, what? He was like, oh my, I was like, oh my God.
Okay, with the engine raised up a little bit and my transmission lowered, I was able to maneuver it around and then drop the engine a little bit more, twist it outside of the bell housing, and now I should be able to pull this thing right out of the car. So let's get it up, out, onto the lift cart, and try to reinforce and support the transmission with some nice supports, engine stands, jack stands, and then let's go ahead and try to get this thing up inside the house.
So it's just timing, like, yo, my brother's a beast. He a beast in fucking wiring shit up, electronics, all that shit. I'm telling you. And I already knew once we got to that final fabrication of the turbo system fab, Everything else is fucking a no-brainer to this motherfucker. You smell me? He's a fucking whiz. He's a fucking beast. He's a whiz. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? He's a fucking whiz. There's a nerd to this shit. I'm not lying to you. You don't smell me? That's why I understand, I trust and believe my brother in Volkswagen, you know what I mean? Audi, Porsche, Lamborghini field of anything, he got this shit. It's just that we ain't had a backing for the bank. But now we do, you know, because our life is different now. You know, we're making things happen. I already knew he was going to wire this bitch up fast because this is a no-brainer. We went to school for it, all that shit. And once we get wired the bitch up, we get the fucking tune in the bitch, and we out there.
Yes, that was a workout. You can see this thing still blowing around. And I got it to the top of the hill. And that was no joke pushing this up. And to start sliding a little bit. As you can see, the mat is crooked. But well, we accomplished the task on this windy day. We have the engine. Oh God, look at all this. We have the engine out, pushed up the hill. We survived the wind advisory, which has just been crazy. The wind was getting so hectic. A feeling of almost wanting to throw in the towel for that moment kind of almost set in, and I had to toughen back up. We were just like, heck no, we got this. So mission accomplished. I persevered, got it out. Let's go in the house, strip this bad boy apart, take that cast crankshaft out, get a forged crankshaft, run this up to the machine shop, drop it off so we can get some engine balance. Okay, we have the engine rolled over, the oil pan is off. We're removing the dual mass flywheel. So this Passat actually had a dual clutch transmission in it. So at least we're staying consistent with the dual mass. We can actually see the pilot bearing inside there also. But let's go ahead and start stripping this baby apart real quick. We are rocking, baby. So we got all the rods loose and disconnected, as well as all the bolts out for the main bearing caps. So let's go ahead and pop these out, and this crankshaft should pop right out. We already have off the timing chain, side cover, all the extra accessories that would be holding this back from getting this crankshaft out. Let's pop these main bearing caps out and snatch this crank out. Back inside my engine assembly room, so I just mounted the support bracket for the engine stand onto the block. And that block over there, along with the pistons and everything, aluminum rods, that is set up for the S5. But back to this baby right here. Let's go ahead, get this on the engine stand. I have this beast back on the engine stand, and honestly, I thought it would have been a while before I had this engine back on the same stand that this build started on. But either way, this is a revamp for stronger parts to get this forged crankshaft in here. I had to muscle it off my lift cart and also slide it onto this tube to kind of push it into position. And now we have it back on its original home where it started life at. And we're going to go ahead, flip this thing over, let some of the oil drain out of it, and just start tearing it apart. Engine's rotated over on the side. I'm removing the hardware for the dual mass flex plate flywheel. Shout out to Racing Custom Parts for this item, because this was good. This came in handy for the fact that, of course, it's strong. It's one of their higher stage ones. And I can literally separate this to get the ARP Pro bolts to secure this to the crankshaft. Had this not came apart, then it would have been a challenge, possibly either modifying this top piece right here with the splines or something else. But the fact that it can come apart, I can actually gain access to the bolts underneath and use the harder and stronger racing bolts that we have installed, ARP Pro. On my bolts, the marking stayed in place. That's because I never ran this piece. All right, we have the timing cover off the side. We'll take the chain off. But mainly, let's get this oil pan off and the Gravitune girdle. Blow out some of this debris from the red Loctite and continue with the removal of the crankshaft and the pistons. So I drained the oil pan when I had the engine inside the car, so it's only a little bit of residual oil that's dripping out. So now we're going to go around the perimeter and remove the bolts for the oil pan. We are getting closer. Shout out to Gravitune for this 3.6 liter block girdle. Very nice product. But, what's the but? I'm going to modify it. So I have a custom damper that should work excellent with my Motec ignition system. I've worked with ATI, or ATI has worked with me to design a damper that I had in mind, and we came up with a nice configuration. But unfortunately, it's going to take modification of the oil pan as well as the side cover for the oil seal. But the results should yield some great performance. So watch out and be on the lookout for this product that's going to be coming out. It's definitely going to be a game changer for excellent ignition, trigger events, and resulting in less misfires for this VR6 engine. Have the rods out. This crank is ready to come out, but this can just sit here and collect dust until we get the forged crank back. Have all the pistons in the box. I'm going to wrap them up individually. Okay, I've been hustling. So I have the engines tore apart. We got the forged crankshaft. We got the racing custom part, dual mass flex plate / flywheel. And we have our pistons, rod, and everything individually wrapped up in the box. So I'm going to call Mancini Machines, see if we can go ahead, if you got room to receive these products today, and we can go ahead and get these at the machine shop, start the balancing process, and then we can go ahead and just move forward to getting this engine build the way it was supposed to be. And as I stated before, shout out to Racing Custom Parts, because they were one of the groups that contacted us about that crankshaft. He wanted to see his product in a vehicle that was going to do good and give his, of course, product some great promotion. Shout out to him, like I said, and I can understand that. He messaged us inboxes, was like, hey, that crankshaft you guys have is not going to be good for your build application, which we understood. We knew it from the beginning, but hey, a small step back to make a major jump forward, and we can proceed with this stage 1 build. Everyone to get the opportunity to see what this build can do as far as horsepower, as far as a low compression, direct injection, 3.6 liter piston design in that car. And let's see what kind of power we can get out of it. Let's get these parts up to the machine shop. We're in the car, headed to Mancini Machines. Sorry for the sun glare. So I've been hustling all weekend, busting ass just to get this stuff done. So it was raining, weathering, crazy rain as you've seen in the video. Freaking wind, gusts, it's been snowing, it's been everything. But we accomplished the task of getting the engine out of the car, tearing everything back out again, getting it inside the house, tearing it apart, getting the essential parts out, the pistons, rods, the dual mass flywheel, all that stuff together, along with the forged crank. Had to tear a second engine apart, as you guys seen, and we got all of that stuff wrapped up together. So now I'm headed to the machine shop, so that way he can start the balancing process. Also, I'm going to take this opportunity to do something I was going to do before that I mentioned in one of the older builds, whereas we had to fabricate the head gasket. So what I'm going to do is, and the head gasket for 1/2-inch ARP studs. That we're going to come out with a kit. We're going to advertise 1/2-inch ARP bolts for the 3.6 liter as well as 3.2, and you'll be able to utilize this and purchase a multi-layer steel gasket with this setup, with the bolts, the gasket, and secure that major monster clamping force of keeping this head clamped to the block so that you can run some serious boost pressures with them 3.2 liters or 3.6 liters, just the VR6 period, getting some extra power, clamping force, running them high boost pressures. So on the way to the machine shop, we got a lot going on. As I stated before, I will be making an upgrade with this build with the custom harmonic damper from ATI. I'm crossing the bridge, so sorry about that. You can see the water in the background, but I'm hitting all the expansion joints. But either way, I hustled, persevered, and got through the weekend. It was crazy. A few times I went to throw in the towel. I was saturated, soaking wet. The tent kept collapsing with water just drenching all over. My boots were soaking wet full of water. They're still drying out. So it's been a crazy, bad weekend so that we can get this engine built up and put some numbers on the board and show our VR6 fans and just a lot of people what these VR6s are capable of. I actually seen over the weekend a company that disassembled a GTR. They removed the complete engine out of the vehicle and everything, and it was crazy. The amount of work it took to just tear out the GTR engine for turbo upgrades or anything like that was insane. So it made working on our VR6 engines look extremely simple. I mean, after I seen that, I had to drive just to go back outside, rip everything back out so that we can build this a better way. So shout out to the GTR boys. I feel your pain for having to go through something like that, but oh, woo, I would not. A lot of people, of course, always say a lot of the Volkswagen and Audi vehicles, different vehicles like that, Mercedes, BMWs, how you have to remove pretty much the whole front end or different things like that just to get the engine out. But a lot of different platforms has its challenges for engine removal. Some vehicles like SUVs or pickup trucks, you have to take the whole body off the chassis just to get to access to the engine. So shout out to them. Woo! Either way, we're persevering. We're going to continue moving forward. So let's do a recap. My weekend was challenging. I had a split weekend, so I was off Saturday, went back to work on Sunday, and off today, which is Monday. So it was challenging. And as you guys got a chance to see, it was rainy out there, very windy, all that to get this accomplished. And luckily, we got it done. We got the parts at the machine shop. 2-week turnaround, and that'll give a chance to focus on a lot of these other great parts that we're going to have coming out. As you can see, I painstakingly had drilled, I took and disassembled a multi-layer steel gasket and drilled each hole for the 1/2-inch ARP studs. And of course, game plan was to do another one, ship it out, and have a company manufacture these multi-layer gaskets so that way we can sell them and people do not have to go through the painstaking task that I went through. You can see how large this hole is for our dowel pin. No, you don't have to run a dowel pin that large to keep your head rigid and secure to your block, but we are. But anyway, and we'll probably sell that also on our website. But we got it done. This is a 3D printed version of our ATI damper. This is going to be a game changer right here for the factory Volkswagen forged crankshaft. And this will give me an opportunity to focus on the completion of developing this product. We have to manufacture or modify the factory oil pan. And yes, I am tired because I've been hustling. We have to modify factory oil pan, so I had a case of brand new factory oil pans that came in. We ordered 10 of these dampers, so get your order in now because they're going to go quick. And we have the cherry red sensors that was set up to work with these dampers. So these dampers, we're going to have a custom front buried over here, oil seal flange, and I'll move this out the way for the larger snout, and I'll just get one just for reference. So you can see this is the front crankshaft seal flange. We want to have a custom billet one, and this was an experimental one where I had to notch it out just so that if this was to fit in place, this will clear. So this will be billet aluminum, and we're going to come off of here when this is mounted in position. This is going to be a larger billet aluminum one. We'll have the holes notched out on the flange itself with a cherry red sensor, so that way you can actually rotate it around like this and adjust the timing for your car. but this would be pretty nice. With this 36-1 tooth crankshaft setup, you'll have less misfires. Running the factory one with, I think it's 60 teeth -1. I would have to look at it. Like I said, I'm beat right here. This is the factory one. You can kind of tell with this bad boy right here. Let me clear some of this stuff out the way, just so I can complete what I'm saying. All these teeth right here, the trigger events, they're known to possibly have a lot of misfires, especially the higher in the RPM you go, and with an extremely fast accelerating engine, you have more of a chance of a misfire with this. Here, a lot of racing companies stopped manufacturing this, and they've gone to a 36-1 trigger wheel, so that way you have less misfires, more reliability, and you can still get accurate trigger events per cylinder and per engine cycle. So these are all in the plan. I'm going to fix my lunch, go to sleep, and relax. But mission accomplished. We got this done. Look forward to seeing some great parts. I worked so hard this weekend. I actually lost 3.5 pounds. So I've been grinding. Let's get some food to snack on, make my lunch for work, and chill out for the night. That's all, folks.